As if one stunning Spaniard wasn't enough, we now have another one on our hands, leaving us awestruck by his phenomenal hits. Carlos Alcaraz has been on a roll these past couple of seasons, and he's showing no signs of stopping. Today, let's talk about the former world number one and explain the biggest challenge that inspirational Carlos Alcaraz will face over the next few years. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into it, starting with the love former number one has for Carlos. Carlos Alcaraz, the high-flying prodigy who became the thrilling champion and the undisputed global champion in 2022, was forever changed by the year 2022. Despite not being at the Nito ATP finals start due to injury, the 19-year-old from Spain still won the year-end number one title. He's had a fantastic season so far, and the accolades are just proof you could ask for. Eurosport commentator Mats Wilander echoes this sentiment, noting that he hasn't seen anything on the circuit this year that even comes close to what Alcaraz has accomplished. It took him less than a year from when he won the first edition of the Next Generation ATP Finals in Milan to Wilander thinking Alcaraz is the most inspiring player in the game, calling his rise to the top of the rankings after the year an announcement so astounding that the 19-year-old cannot be compared to Federer, Nadal, or even Djokovic. He also mentioned how he adores the perspective Carlos has for the sport. His words were, "When I hear Carlos Alcaraz talk about tennis and the way I see him play, it is that simple. He's just happy playing tennis. And he says, I want to be number one in the world. No strings attached, no nothing. It's no mind games and nothing. It's just what I feel." Next, there are some difficulties waiting for him ahead. Confirming this season for the next year is no easy feat. He predicted that Carlos Alcaraz would have a hard time processing events in 2022. The Swede went on to say that he has faith in his coach Juan Carlos Ferrero to lead them to success. If Wilander has his way, Alcaraz requires a validation procedure. The Spaniard should keep the following in mind. It was a fantastic year, but hold on. There's Holger Rune, Djokovic, and Daniil Medvedev who are just as good. So it's fair to have some concerns. In the Alcaraz squad, how you handle this situation matters. Hard effort on both the body and the mind, Wilander said, might help overcome self-doubt. It also requires a solid backup strategy. He must learn to play through illness. Both Nadal and Djokovic are masters of this technique. When they switched to this mode, the game became intensely physical, emotionally charged, and tactically sophisticated. Also, that was really fruitful for these two participants. A lot of trouble for Carlos is in store for him around here. Will he be able to keep his grin for the next few years? The Swede told Eurosport that regardless of the outcome, he's most looking forward to this challenge. Whether he's the best player, one thing's undeniable. Seeing him play tennis while really enjoying himself is a joy. Not to mention, his rivals are as ready as ever. Wilander also predicts a showdown amongst the ATP Tour's up-and-coming stars, with players like Rune, who defeated Djokovic to win the Paris final in the running to dethrone Alcaraz as the circuit's top dog. So what about Holger Rune, who many people believe will be Alcaraz's most formidable rival in the not-so-distant future? According to Wilander, Rune shouldn't have made the top spot in the world rankings his primary objective, since if it didn't happen as quickly as he wanted, it would lead to a lot of dissatisfaction. According to the former number one, Holger, who is still young at 19, learns very quickly and can be counted on to improve his course presence with practice. He believes that if Rune can learn to be more collected and even-keeled in his tennis, it will do wonders for him. Maybe Holger should pay some heed to this advice by the world champion as he progresses further in this rise to the top. Following up, Wilander thinks that there's no comparison. Mats Wilander thinks that because of the unconventional route that Carlos Alcaraz took to become the best player in the world in 2022, he should never be compared to tennis greats like Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Novak Djokovic. While acknowledging that what Alcaraz accomplished had never seen anything like, Wilander cautioned that it would take some time for Alcaraz's newfound fame to settle in. He's right. The big three have spent decades of their lives in the game, proving themselves both on and off the court. So it would only be fair if the public brings up the comparison when Alcaraz comes to where they are today experience-wise. Moving on, some more insights by Mats. This year, the 19-year-old has won 3 ATP 500 tournaments, including the Miami Masters, Madrid Masters, and 2 others. Finally, he has added a Grand Slam championship to his resume and established himself as the youngest player in ATP history to hold the top ranking. The way he has been doing it, though, is of far more significance. Tennis with Alcaraz is always a thrill to watch since he is never afraid to go for the net and take chances. That's winning over tennis fans everywhere. And according to Mats Wilander, the former world #1, he's just going to become bigger from here. We will always remember this surge by Carlos Alcaraz, Wilander told Eurosport. In 2022, Casper Ruud was ranked second in the world, and his efforts to reach 2 Grand Slam finals left an indelible impression on him. It seemed inevitable that Carlos Alcaraz would become world champion, but his victory here is really momentous. What's more, his maturity is unparalleled. He shed some light on his attitude, saying that Carlitos is so mature off the court and everything he says, which is why he's so mature on the court. The two go hand in hand. It's taken years of practice to get here, but he's only 19. He said he thinks part of what he's showing, the Spaniard has to either have been born with or from his parents. Wilander was sure Juan Carlos Ferrero had a lot to do with it, but Carlos still had to earn it, and all of it had been unreal. The final of the US Open was a close match, with Casper Ruud, his opponent, producing some magnificent tennis of his own, so it's no wonder that Mats is a fan. Given the state of men's tennis with Knowles' absence, Federer and Alexander Zverev's injuries, and Nadal's subpar play, a new breakout star was needed. Alcaraz's style of play on court charm seems tailor-made to usher in a new era for the sport. Now let's take a look at Carlo Alcaraz's girlfriend, Maria Gonzalez Giménez. For his age, Carlos Alcaraz is perhaps the most exciting tennis player of all time. The young legend has the drive necessary to compete on an international stage, and his coach is one of the sport's all-time fan favorites. He is said to be seeing Maria a lovely tennis player. She's also a great athlete from Spain. Let's find out more about her. Maria's professional life will remain under the radar for the same reason she has kept her romantic life private, but she is starting to make a name for herself on Instagram, where the number of her followers has increased from 2,899 to 6,412 in just a month, and it just keeps on increasing. First off, she's in love with tennis too. A lot of tennis players date other athletes. The tennis pro Maria was the woman Carlos chose to date. Maria has been a tennis player since she was a youngster, and she currently competes at a high level. Because of her superior on-court prowess, she regularly competes in a number of tennis tournaments, each of which she is confidently expected to win. Because of her daily tennis practice, Maria is a dedicated worker. We're working on our tennis game thanks to her regimented instruction. Every day, she makes little strides that help her prepare for and ultimately win the following match. In addition, she analyzes her opponent's strategies. That gives her a better shot at taking out the strongest opponents. Finally, you can find her at the beach. Maria likes to visit the beach and shoot photographs at various spots. After school, she and her buddies go to the beach and play sports. She feels a bond with the waters and nature. Evening beach trips are her favorite. The reason for this is that she takes pleasure in watching sunsets. It's clear that she often visits the beach. It's because all she posts on Instagram are beach photos. She loves to travel and appreciates the solitude and calm of the wilderness. It's clear from her Instagram feed that she has a soft spot for plants and the outdoors. We still don't have many other details about her, as she chooses to live a private life. It is speculated that the star's girlfriend is in her early 20s. We have confirmation that the two are dating because of an adorable snapshot that was shared of the two, where Alcaraz could be seen kissing her on the cheek. That's a wrap for this video. So what did you think about the new challenges that are ahead for Carlos? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.